Eat better, tastier foods in 2024. Look no further than Fuhrer's cheese spread. Stop eating your apples, vegetables, crackers, and chips plain. Give them some flavor. Fuhrer's cheese spread awakens your taste buds. Now that's how you start a new year. Find your container of Fuhrer's cheese spread today at your local grocery store. Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Southeast Community College invites you to check out our spaces ahead of your official campus visit. Our virtual campus tours let you see our campuses and learn more about our programs of study. Then you can schedule your individual visit in person or virtually. Virtual tours of our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, and our learning centers are online at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Old School with DP and J.
Do you think it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes as the greatest of all time? You know, to be honest with you, I think he might be ahead of the pace. It was definitely on pace, maybe ahead of the pace. I think right now everything that he does is going to get overblown, and I think people so quickly forgot the 20-year run of the Patriots. Not 5-6 years, 20-year run of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here by both assistant sports editors at the Daily Nebraskan, Anthony Rubik and Marissa Cross, both to my left. Guys, how are you doing on this beautiful, beautiful Monday night?
I'm doing well. It was very nice weather today. It was very nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was really cool just seeing everyone outside, and I live like by the grass area by Nyhart Hall or whatever that name is. And people were just out on their blankets and stuff. And yeah, it was nice.
It finally feels like spring is here. Am I wrong? Like it's like, and honestly, maybe it's even more like summer, except without the humidity. Like, I don't know. It's so nice outside. Like, I remember dreading having to I'm like, man, I always have to check the weather. Do I need to get a coat? Now, I haven't even been checking the weather. I've just not even been wearing a coat.
Yeah. I feel like it could also be fake spring too. I feel like
maybe.
this kind of happens sometimes where we have like a week of nice weather and then we kind of go dip back into winter, but who knows? This one could last.
I don't know, man. It's already, it's almost March already. So all the groundhogs are saying early spring, right? I don't even know.
I think so, yeah.
So if they said early spring, then it better be here already. But with that, we are going to start the show off with basically today's show is going to be mostly recaps of the weekend. And we're going to start with recaps for basketball, men's and women's basketball. Let's first start on the men's side of things. Men's basketball gets a much needed win. I don't know if much needed win is the right answer, but a really good win against Minnesota. Beat them pretty handily by 18, 73-55. Nebraska defeated Minnesota. And the nicest thing for Husker fans about this game was just the dominant fashion that Nebraska won this game in. And also B, they got a little bit of revenge from the last time these two played. Nebraska had a big lead going into half. They led by as much as like 18 or something like that. Minnesota comes back, a meltdown from Nebraska. They end up winning that game pretty convincingly, Minnesota does. But Nebraska gets the upper hand on Sunday. Guys, what was kind of your biggest takeaways from Sunday's game?
Yeah, this was a game that Nebraska had circled on their calendar ever since that pretty awful second half showing in their first matchup against Minnesota. But really, really nice team effort this game. The thing that stood out for me the most is Nebraska's defense. They held Minnesota to a season low 55 points. And Minnesota is right behind Nebraska in points per game in Big Ten play. They rank in the top 5 in the conference in scoring. So just a very, very strong showing from them. Especially they did it throughout the whole entire game. Points were at a premium in the first half. Nebraska led 28-20 heading into the locker room. And then they were just able to continue that for the second half. And it was really just adding to another strong defensive showing for Nebraska, who's really been having those games every game the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. They just went off on the defense, on the defense. Yeah, I can't talk. The defensive side on Sunday, and yeah, it was just. I mean, as you said, like a season low 55 points by Minnesota, and I think it was like 31% from the field. So yeah, it was a good showing on that end. And then also, I mean, I feel like Nebraska just can't lose at home, like with the crowd noise and stuff, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about more. I feel like the team just really fed off of that.
It's honestly incredible how dominant Nebraska has been at home. And it's always been, though, the discrepancy from home and away. Nebraska, though, did beat Indiana in their last game. They're going to have Ohio State coming up on Thursday. We'll likely preview that game later in the week. But again, while it was a home game, it was a game Nebraska was supposed to win. It was just the way they won. It wasn't the fact that they won. It was the way they won. This was a game that I honestly had circled at the end of the schedule just because this is like one of the tougher home games left on the schedule. Minnesota, Nebraska meltdown against them last time they played. Nebraska just needed to have a really good game against Minnesota because also I feel like Minnesota is kind of one of those teams that matches up pretty well with Nebraska because they're a little bit bigger, more physical. They can also shoot the ball pretty well from downtown. Like teams that could shoot the ball almost as well as Nebraska and are a little bit bigger, those teams worry me a little bit. So I was really wanting to see how Nebraska's bigger lineup did against Minnesota, and it just did wonders. The energy was just so apparent at PBA. We can go specifically more into the game. For Nebraska, Juwan Gary probably had his best game of the season.
Yeah, career high, 22 points, 4 3-pointers, which it was a very interesting seeing how 3-pointers kind of were scattered out throughout the team. Didn't shoot the ball well in the first half, picked it up in the second half, but only 3 players hit shots from deep. Juwan Gary, Bryce Williams, and Jamarcus Lawrence. Guys like Keisei Tominaga, Rank Mass, CJ Wilcher, the best 3-point shooters on Nebraska were cold, but guys like Gary stepped up big time. And of course, delivering that on the defensive end as well. Gary played great defense against the likes of Farrell Payne, Dawson Garcia. Again, Minnesota has a whole, especially their whole starting five. Every player has the ability to go off. Got to have tabs on all those guys. And Gary, along with the rest of Nebraska, just played physical defense on them. They, especially in the first half, they avoided fouls. They avoided sending Minnesota to the free throw line. That kind of changed in the second half, but that's when the offense started going. So yeah, Gary, he's just a guy, when he's on the court, Nebraska just plays better. When he's been out, Nebraska's dearly missed him, and he's just really showed how vital he is to this team on Sunday.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that, he had 18 of his 22 points in the second half, which is kind of insane. It's just he clutched up in the end, and you could tell he wanted it.
Gary has been so great ever since he got back into the starting lineup. And it wasn't a question of if he was going to get back in the starting lineup. It was who's going to be replaced. And it was Jamarcus Lawrence, who is now coming off the bench. He had another pretty solid game. Not like an amazing game at any stretch, but 11 points coming off the bench. That's a pretty solid game. This is one thing that's been really interesting, though, is ever since Lawrence has been moved to the bench, CJ Wilcher has just not, I don't want to say he hasn't played good. He just hasn't gotten the same amount of opportunities ever since Lawrence went to the bench. It's like Lawrence slid into that Wilcher role, and Wilcher's just kind of like, he's just not as needed. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, it's just been very weird to see. I mean, obviously 22 points against Wisconsin really wheeled Nebraska back into that game. And then since then, he's shooting 9% from three.
I mean, then maybe he's not playing that good.
Yeah, like
maybe I overestimated.
But I mean, he has been doing other stuff defensively, offensively. Yeah, it's just, you can tell he kind of does look a little not as comfortable as he used to be out there. Or he's been getting a little frustrated, obviously, with his shots not falling, especially with how big of a tear he was on beforehand. And yeah, it's really interesting to see, especially with a guy like Lawrence going to the bench and how he's really thrived in that role. And he's been playing his best basketball this season once being moved to the bench. Really just, it's hard to, it's really just like, there's only one player on Nebraska that could truly stand out on this bench unit, where, Lawrence is going on a roll now. Wilcher had that role beforehand. Guys like Alec, when he's on the bench, tend to do better, but it really just comes to the expense of other players.
While it is a little disappointing that Wilcher isn't playing as well, it should make you feel good as a Husker fan, because if there were an injury to happen, there's a guy that can slide right into those minutes and pick him up very, very well. Wilcher had, how many minutes did he have? He
played 11.
Yeah, only 11. Like, see, he was playing like way over 20 before Lawrence got slid to the bench. So it's not only that he's not playing as well, he's just not getting the same amount of opportunities, which has been really, really interesting for me. But other than that, if we go to the starting lineup, Josiah Alec, he honestly had a better game than Rank Mass, and I don't even think that was really even close. Alec really brought the energy. I just love the physical nature that Alec has been playing with recently. The last bad game he had, it was that Northwestern game. Ever since that Northwestern game, he has just been the energy in that starting five in every single game. And I just really liked watching Alec play recently. When Hoiberg started with the bigger lineup, I liked the idea, but the thing was, not having Alec come off the bench means you have less size. But that really hasn't been too big of a deal so far since this lineup has been implemented.
Yeah, Fred Hoiberg's done a great job of, starting the bigger lineup, starting both Alec and Mass. He still distributes minutes very well, where it's times where Alec is the only big on the floor at the 5, or sometimes Mass is there. There's never a time where both of them are off the court. And Alec, similar to the Michigan game, he started the game off with 2 offensive rebounds on the first possession of the game. Like, he just offers instant energy that's very needed for this Nebraska offense, especially with guys like Lawrence, Sam Hoiberg, CJ Wilcher, those guys have shown that they can provide a spark off the bench. Alec just gives you that spark right to begin with. And especially with a home PBA crowd, if Josiah Alec is hot, they're hot. If all the Nebraska's hot, they just feed off each other perfectly.
Marissa, what did you think of Alec's performance? You were there at the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Anthony said, he's just super aggressive. He was going for loose balls and definitely feeding off of the crowd. Like I was thinking about like during the game, like how similar he is to his sister, who also brings energy to the volleyball team, and she was there on Sunday too. They, pan the camera to her a lot, and she was bringing the energy to the. I think she was in the student section or wherever she was. So yeah, they both just always bring the energy, and you could see his. I feel like a little bit more aggressiveness than we have seen before, and I think it kind of comes from that wanting that revenge with Minnesota.
I haven't seen this comparison as much recently because Alec wasn't playing too well for a long period, but at the start of the season, everyone was comparing him to like a Dennis Rodman, how he brings the energy, rebounding. I haven't seen that. I want to bring that back because he's honestly playing even better than what he was at the beginning of the season. Like everything he does, it doesn't show up in the box score. Like it just does. You just have to watch him. It's almost the same thing as when Sam Hoiberg plays. When you watch Sam play, it's not going to show up in the box score. You just have to watch. Alec and Hoiberg were while they weren't the guys that were scoring like Wilcher was in that Wisconsin game, they were the reason that Nebraska was able to come back in that game just as big of a part because they were bringing the energy in that Wisconsin game. And then last night, Alec really just right away set the tone. In that Michigan game, he set the tone right away. I've just really been impressed by Alec. If we go on to other players, Tominaga only had 6 points, but he wasn't really needed as much in this game. He deserved a game off. Rick Mast, 10 points. Honestly, about what I expected from Mast because Minnesota's a bigger team. Mast hasn't played as well against bigger, more athletic teams. So, but 10 points for Mast, that was pretty good. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to point out from the game?
Yeah, Mast 3 of 12 from the field, but I liked how he was trying to at least attack the inside a little bit. I feel like when he's been playing against these bigger men in the paint, he usually tends to kind of become more of a guard than a forward at that point when he just relies on the three-pointer. He went 0 of 3 from deep the other night, so obviously wasn't working for him there, and it wasn't really working from inside either, but I appreciate him just trying to find a rhythm in there, and he did also convert some tough finishes there as well.
Yeah, I agree. He's pretty solid, and something that really jumped out to me from the stat sheets, Nebraska out-rebounded Minnesota. Mm-hmm. That was impressive to me. Nebraska won the rebound battle and turnover battle. When they do that, they can beat any team in the nation if they are winning the turnover battle and rebound battle.
Yeah, and then another stat that you kind of just remind me of, Nebraska also won the assist battle 14-6. The big thing about that is Elijah Hawkins on Minnesota averages 7.6 assists a game, or at least he was yesterday. One of the best passers in the country, up there with the nation's best in assists and passing. He only had 2 assists in Minnesota as a team only had 6. So they didn't even get to his average. That just shows how great Nebraska was on the defensive end. They really just forced Minnesota to take several rough shots, forced them to drain out all 30 seconds of the shot clock, forced a couple shot clock violations. So just a very well-rounded effort on defense.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Nebraska's defense, defensive energy against Minnesota. Just like I said, they really just brought it right from the gate. Nebraska's kind of been a team this year that I feel like they've gotten off to slow starts a lot of the time this year. That was not the case against Minnesota. They just right away you could just feel that Nebraska was not going to allow themselves to lose this game. If on the text line, Husker Army said K-State draws the opponent's best defender every game. That allows Williams and Gary to attack. I agree. See, Tominaga, he is just as dangerous without the ball in his hands as he is with the ball in his hands. Maybe even more dangerous with the ball not in his hands because he just draws so much attention. I'm not going to say he's Steph Curry, but it's kind of Steph Curry-esque where if you have him moving around, have him cutting to the hoop, he's really his off ball. his off-ball movement, honestly, in my opinion, is one of his best skill sets.
Yeah, it's just you saw it against Indiana the other day as well. He's really he becomes their top priority on the defensive end. They have to have a guy on Casey no matter where he goes, and Casey just him cutting around, running around, really just helps guys like Williams, Mass, Lawrence. Everyone just really gets better looks, better opportunities at his expense of him just wearing the defender out, bringing the top guys on him because you saw in the first half against Indiana, the Hoosiers had trouble getting guys on him, and he made them pay. So yeah, wow, he only had 6 points the other day, 2 of 7 shooting. It was still a very well game from him, and really he definitely helped contribute to Nebraska's win.
Marissa, is there anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, just overall, I think it was a good win for Nebraska and something that they needed. I think they're now in 5th in the Big Ten, and depending on what happens later in the week, they could, be even higher. So, yeah, I think it was just overall good game.
Yeah, an important game though. For like you said in the Big Ten standings, can they get that first round bye in the Big Ten tournament? Because I feel like I think honestly that might be more important than positioning in the NCAA tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're right now with the way Nebraska has played, they've moved themselves out of the bubble. They're in around that 8 or 9 seed range right now.
Which what's scary about that 8-9 is you then play 1.
Yeah, I would much prefer a 7 or 10 seed for Nebraska than an 8 and 9. And there's still 3 games left. They could still play their way back down into the bubble if they put up some bad performances going forward. But I do really like their chances to get a double bye in the Big Ten. They're 10-7 in league play. Wisconsin and Northwestern are 10-6, but Nebraska owns the tiebreaker over both of them.
Yeah,
they split the head-to-head series with them all, but because of the next tiebreaker, which is winning percentage over the number 1 seed in the conference, since Nebraska does have the win over Purdue and not a loss to them, they do jump them in that. So it's very interesting to see if Nebraska is able to pull out and win their last 3 games. A team like Wisconsin still has Illinois and Purdue left on the schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and March Madness is just around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it. So it's going to be interesting to see if Nebraska can get its first NCAA tournament win ever. But with that, let's move on to the women's side of things for basketball. Nebraska women's basketball team also beat Minnesota this weekend, defeated them 70-51, so 19-point game. Beat them by 1 more point than the men's team. So we're saying they were 1 point better. Did a little bit better than the men's. But anyways, Nebraska in that game dominated the first quarter. Nebraska outscored Minnesota 20-8 in the first period, and then outscored Minnesota in every single other quarter. There wasn't a quarter Nebraska was outscored in this game. It was just complete domination by Nebraska, start to finish. And this is kind of both basketball teams for Nebraska are kind of hovering on that bubble, like you said, or maybe they're 8-9. Some people think they're maybe 10 or even 11 seed in the NCAA tournament. So it like wins like these, even though Nebraska's at home, they've been dominant at home. Maybe that doesn't help them as much. These are every single win counts as they're both fighting for tournament positioning.
Yeah, Nebraska women's basketball is also really playing their best basketball this season right now. They've won their last 3 games by double digits
after having a rough stretch.
Yeah, and it's just they're the 4th seed right now in the Big Ten tournament. They can clinch that double bye with a win in their final game at Illinois. And yeah, it's just this team is really clicking at the right time. Senior night obviously was a big game. Last time Jazz Shelley would be in Pinnacle Bank Arena. Unfortunately, she had 16 points, led the team in scoring, but they had several players contribute. They had 8 players score at least 6 points on their team. Just great depth for them. And yeah, it really just shows how any player can go off on any moment for this Nebraska team.
Yeah, I also want to point out that Markowski also had a big game. She with her 17th double-double of the season.
Yeah, 17th.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, and I also read that her 12 rebounds put her at 302 for the season for her second straight 300 rebound season. So That's also pretty impressive. And Natalie Potts also had a good night. And she got her 7th Big Ten Freshman of the Year honor, which is another pretty big deal for Nebraska and for Potts. She averaged 15 points and 8.5 rebounds and 2 steals. So another solid game for her.
Yeah, for this women's team, while there are some veterans on the team like Jazz Shelley, there are a lot of younger players on this team like Potts, Kendall Moriarty. Markowski's only a junior. It's just like, and it feels like she's a senior. She's only a junior. It's like they're like this team, even though they're going to be losing Shelley next year, they have a chance to maybe even be better next year. I mean, honestly, Callan Hake's on the team. She might take over that Jazz Shelley role a little bit. I really liked her game. I kind of wish she'd get some more minutes. But like, there's so much young talent on this women's basketball team.
Yeah, Logan Nisley is another one who, she only had 2 points the other night, but 4 assists. She's been inserted in that starting lineup as of late. Another one of those freshmen that I've really liked her play, especially as of late. She's playing some of her best basketball. And yeah, the future is definitely bright for Nebraska.
So coming up on the schedule for Nebraska, they're closer to wrapping up the season than the men's team is, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
They just have, what is it, just one more game? Yeah, they just have their one more game on the road against Illinois on Sunday. And then it's Big Ten tournament for them. Hasn't January and February just flown by? Like, I swear it wasn't that long ago when Christmas break, I felt like was just yesterday. Like, and now we're already into March, which March is honestly my favorite month of the year. And it's just because of the NCAA tournament. I'm super excited. I think Nebraska women's team, while they didn't come into this year with as high of expectations, they have honestly done about as well as anybody could have imagined this year so far. Amy Williams, they got the big win against Iowa this year. That was kind of the headline for the season. Next year, they're going to be bringing in Brett Prince. Like, the future for Nebraska women's basketball is definitely bright. Is there any other closing thoughts before we go to break on this women's team?
I don't think so.
You think we got it all?
Yeah, I hope they can, keep their momentum, and especially if they, make it to the NCAA tournament and make it a little bit further than last time.
It's definitely going to be exciting. Last time they had a pretty nice WNIT run, so we'll see if they can make a run in the actual NCAA tournament. But with that, we're going to throw it to break, and when we come back, we're going to get some baseball and softball talk right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben, Anthony, Marissa still are all here with you on this Monday night. And we forgot to talk about, honestly, the most interesting part of the men's basketball game, in my opinion, because the game was kind of a blowout, although it's still pretty fun to watch if you're a Husker fan. The dunk contest, the halftime entertainment. There's been some bad halftime entertainment this year for men's basketball, but it was not this last Sunday. This last Sunday was actually pretty enjoyable for the halftime entertainment.
Yeah, a dunk contest involving the Nebraska football team, Heinrich Harburg, Emmett Johnson, Jeremiah Charles, Thomas Fedoni, and Kai Wallen just put on a show for all of PVA. Cameron King and I were covering the game for the DN, and we just had a blast watching that, picking on who we think was going to win. We both thought Jeremiah Charles was going to win, which he did. And yeah, it was just a fun show.
Yeah, I agree. I was in the student section and it was just electric in the student section, and the whole crowd in PVA. They were just, soaking it up and loving every moment of it, especially when Rule came out. I think, that just brought some extra hype. I feel like some people were like pretty surprised that Rule allowed them to do that with the, risk of injury and stuff. But I think it's really cool that Rule got so involved in it and was just so involved and supportive of it.
Could you even imagine Scott Frost allowing his players to do that? I couldn't. But See, this is what I want to do. The NBA dunk contest wasn't that long ago. I honestly had more fun watching the clips from the Husker football players doing that than the actual NBA players dunking it.
Yeah, Jeremiah Charles, he did better dunks than Jalen Brown did, I think.
We don't have to get too far into that, but
Yeah.
Jalen Brown jumped over Kai Cenat,
Sitting down.
who was sitting down. Yeah, he wasn't even standing; he was sitting down. Okay, I'm not a very tall person, but Kai Cenat is probably the same height as me, and I am nowhere even near 6 foot, and that's not a and me sitting down, I'm even shorter than.
Yeah.
Come on, that's okay. Whatever. We'll get back to the Nebraska dunk contest. What was your favorite? Do you remember your favorite dunk from the halftime show?
I think again goes back to Jeremiah Charles, his East Bay dunk to win it. It was just talk about a guy who's really kind of put himself on the map for a lot of just casual Nebraska fans, because he was a guy who redshirted this past football season, didn't see the field that much, but he's been on the Huskers track and field team, finished 5th in the Big Ten championships for triple jump, and now he had PVA all on their feet yesterday, going wild after every one of his dunks. So it's just really cool to see.
What was your favorite one, Marissa?
Yeah, I would have to say I think that one definitely stood out, and you could tell with the crowd noise. It was definitely louder than the other ones. Yeah, I was just like reading about it. I didn't even know that the different jumps had different names, which I mean, I don't really watch that much basketball, but like a 360 by one between the legs is just insane. And I've watched it today too, just replays of it, and yeah, it's just crazy. And I feel like most of Twitter, that was kind of the consensus that it was better than the NBA dunk contest. I feel like every other comment was like, "Wow, this is better than NBA," or I feel like that was kind of the overall impression.
And then Emmett Johnson tried to dunk over Matt Rule.
This was the one I was wanting to go into. So, Husker fans might be a little bit biased with saying that this dunk contest was a little bit better. I don't know. I'll agree because I'm from Nebraska, but it might be a little bit biased of us. But we're entitled to our opinion. But then Emmett Johnson tried jumping over Matt Rule and didn't turn out good. Kind of like and then Nebraska football Twitter made that their profile picture, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is it still their profile picture? I wonder. I need you to immediately look that up, Anthony.
I feel like
they switched it back.
They switched.
It was just a one night thing.
I was gonna say. I feel like if Matt Rule tucked his head a little bit, I feel like he could have made it, because I don't.
But
think
that's
he
cheating.
Did. Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a football player doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have. Maybe they should have brought Kai Cenat to sit in a chair, and then he could have got over him like Jalen Brown, and then we could have all high fived him and said, "Good job." But no, I thought it was a super cool idea for them to do that, and I mean, I'm honestly like Heinrich Harburg. It was cool just seeing some of the. It wasn't some of these guys on the football team that casual Husker fans might not know. There was some names that people that played a lot this year. Heinrich Harburg, Emmett Johnson. These are guys that played quite a bit this year. So it's really cool to see them do it. And I hope they honestly do it next year again too. I think it'd just be so cool. But with that, do you have something to add?
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you guys saw, but a lot of the football team was in the student section watching.
Yeah.
So that was really fun to watch their reactions. I was kind of right in front of them, and I think some coaches were there too, and they were on their feet and really into it, and so that was cool to see. And it was just also just really awesome, the reach of the whole event too. I don't know, it was on DraftKings and ESPN, and everyone saw it, and so I think it's really cool when Nebraska gets a little bit recognition like that.
Yeah, the most recognition they've gotten since Dylan Raiola came. But with that, we now move to softball and baseball. We could first start with we'll start with softball just because that's the one I have pulled up on the computer. Not any bias. That's just the one I have pulled up right now. Nebraska now 8-6 overall after the weekend. After a pretty solid weekend last week, not as successful this weekend. They were just 2-3. But then again, they did get a nice win over number 23 ranked Oregon. They shut them out 6-0. Pretty solid win. But then they lost to number 19 UCLA. Really close game though. Lost 9-8, and then number 20 ranked Utah 9-5.
Yeah, they held leads in both of those games as well. It was a very tough weekend going 2-3, but they still put up a great fight. And games like this will help prepare you for the Big Ten for conference play once it rolls around. And really, these games are just making Nebraska better, I think.
Honestly, this is probably, I mean, I'm trying to remember because I don't have last season's schedule pulled up, but like, I don't think they might have only be like one ranked team, like in all of the like beginning non-con, like when they were traveling. So, I mean, they already got one over Oregon and there was a pretty convincing win. And they've played a lot of these ranked teams pretty closely outside of the first two, Duke and Washington, to start the year. You know, they're still kind of dealing with the Jordy Ball injury. But I mean, this again just makes me wonder. It's just really gonna, like, when Nebraska comes back home and starts playing home games, like it's just gonna be so tough that Jordy Ball is not gonna be out there, just because you're gonna see the potential of this team. Like, even though they're not obviously not winning every single one of these games, but every single one of these games this weekend was pretty competitive. I mean, the least competitive one was against Utah, and that was 9-5. Like, not a terrible
And they had
loss.
a 5-0 lead that game too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's just like all these games have been pretty good games. And like, if Jordy Ball was in them, Nebraska might have been 4-1 in this weekend. Like, you never know. Like, she's that kind of a talent. But I'm still super excited about this softball season. I think Nebraska is once again going to be one of the top teams in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's not an amazing softball conference, so they're still going to be one of the better teams in the Big Ten, regardless of Jordy Ball playing or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just, again, they're still kind of trying to find that answer at pitcher, obviously with Ball's injury, but they have done well in the past, or they have done well so far, I should say. Every one of their pitchers, they're getting a ton of experience. Obviously, guys like Sarah Harness, Kenny, returners, and then Caitlin Olensky and Emerson Cope, freshman. It's been a decent sized load for both of them so far, for all four of them. Each of them are gaining a ton of experience to help them throughout the rest of the year.
With that, we can now move into baseball, because baseball also played this week, although they have played less games, but they're 4-3 overall. And this last weekend, they went, what was it, 2-1? Yeah,
3-1.
3-1. Oh yeah, I forgot they played Grand Canyon 4 times. Okay, I did not watch every single one of those, but I did watch a couple of them, because I'm sorry, no one wants to watch Nebraska against Grand Canyon 4 days in a row. I'm sorry. Even Husker fans, like, it might be tough, but Nebraska got to double-digit runs in 2 of the 3 games. The other one, 7 and 5. Like, this was kind of a bounce-back performance from, I think, Nebraska's offense. Although Grand Canyon, not like a blue blood, amazing team, still just, I think, a confidence builder for this Nebraska baseball team. Because their most convincing win was the 11-1 win on Friday against Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Nebraska started the series out playing some great baseball. Really great response from their pitchers. Brett Sears built off his great first start against Baylor on Friday. Drew Christo got the Thursday start for his first start of the year. He also did well. It was overall a very nice week for pitching. Kind of saw some struggles towards the back half of it, but a lot of pitchers played, a lot of different relief pitchers. Kind of shows a lot of, maybe they're probably a lot of just throwing guys out there, seeing how they mesh. But guys like Jalen Worthy had a great bounce back week. Kyle Perry also had a great bounce back week. He closed the game on Sunday. So just shows that they have a lot of arms that can do it. And I mean, yeah, Grand Canyon, they're not like they're not Tennessee. They're not Oklahoma. Like
they're not world beaters.
Yeah, but they're a solid mid-conference team. They were 3-0 on the year going into this game. And yeah, this is really, these kind of games, these non-conference games are really, really important for Nebraska, especially coming from a Big Ten, a team that is a relatively weak conference when it comes to college baseball.
Yeah.
Last year they had 3 teams in the tournament, in the NCAA regionals. Year before that, they only had 1, a conference champion. It's really not a given if you have a good year and you're still going to be playing in a regional. So to go out against this team that, like Grand Canyon, who should do well in their conference and win the series, great sign for them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you said, it was a good bounce back after, 2 tough losses against Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Especially the Oklahoma game, they lost by 1 run, 7-6. It was nice for them to be able to bounce back, win 3 of their last 4. But with that, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to recap the rest of Nebraska's sports this weekend: Olympic sports, rifle, wrestling, gymnastics, all and that more is coming right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tag on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com.
If your home heating system is making strange noises or just doesn't work like it should, call your friends at Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Sign up for Bryant's exclusive ESP service protection plan. You'll get twice annual complete and thorough service on all brands, and you'll never pay overtime charges on evenings, weekends, or holidays. Schedule your heating check today and ask about Bryant's ESP plan to save money. Call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I saw they were outside.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We're here with you for one last segment. It'll be about 8 minutes, and then we're going to be out of here and enjoy the rest of our nights. But before we end, we want to recap the rest of the Olympic sports from this past weekend. And obviously, a lot of them played, a lot of Olympic sports for Nebraska. First one I want to touch on is wrestling, if I can find it, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, wrestling Nebraska wrestling ranked number 3 in the nation still. Nebraska's wrestling team, if you haven't been following, is pretty good. Okay, pretty good. They beat number 19 ranked Arizona State 26-9. Dominant game.
Yeah, it was just complete domination. Even with guys like Ridge Lovett dropping their first bout of the season, definitely came as a surprise, but it came to the number 3 ranked guy. Ridge Lovett's the number 1 ranked guy in the 149 pound class. And another kind of disappointing thing about the game is Arizona State forfeited their heavyweight matchup. They were scared of Nash Hutmaker.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing to see. Like I was at the basketball game trying to look through like the results, and I didn't see Nash like on the Twitter, and I was like, oh no, like is he not wrestling? Did he get injured? But I mean, I guess forfeit's a forfeit, and I think that's an automatic win for him too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe so. So yeah, it's always maybe even a little, maybe it's always a little sad when Polar Bear doesn't wrestle, but it's been super fun to watch him this year. And I just like the support he's been getting from football fans as well. Everybody's kind of just rooting for him. On to other sports. Women's gymnastics played. They went against 4 different teams on Friday, but only went 1-3 in that stretch, losing to Michigan State, Minnesota, and Ohio State. But they did beat Rutgers. Men's tennis beat Texas Tech 4-1. As you said, baseball beat Grand Canyon, obviously. As we go on, women's basketball, once again, they beat Minnesota by 19. Good win for them. Women's golf got 5th in the Westbrook Spring Invitational. So that's pretty well. They got 5th with 838 points. And then softball lost to Utah. Men's tennis beat Tulsa 5-2. So good win for men's tennis. Wrestling, like you said, beat Arizona State. Men's gymnastics, they not? Oh, yeah, they must not have played. Dang, I was wanting to talk about that. But then beach volleyball, I've been getting notifications about beach volleyball. I honestly never even realized before this year that like beach volleyball was actually a thing in Nebraska. That just shows how uneducated I am about that.
It was really cool today because with it being such a beautiful day in Lincoln, they actually had their games outside.
Yeah.
Outside of the university suites, outside the East Side suites. I was walking to class, Sports Media 250 this morning at around 9 a.m. And I just see a big crowd around the sand volleyball courts. And then I look and it's, you see Lexi Rodriguez and Andy Jackson, all these Husker players there, and they're just playing their games right at the same spot me and my roommates would be playing like later that night and stuff like that. So it's just very cool to see. They were able to pick up 2 wins today over Ottawa and Wayne State.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like if there was a crowd there because I completely missed that, but I would think that's really cool that it was on campus and then students were able to watch it.
Yeah, there was like some like older people, like adults there that they like parked their cars in the parking lot and then were just like tailgating on that, like just watching from afar. So it was very cool to see, and yeah, just something I wasn't expecting on my Monday morning.
Yeah, they should maybe do that more often. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen like the indoor beach volleyball, but just sand pit and then like a picture of a beach on one wall, and it's definitely not as nice as the real deal. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people are surprised that there's beach volleyball here.
Yeah, I mean, it surprises me a little bit because, I mean, I knew they did beach volleyball, but like I didn't know it was like actually like they were actually competing against other teams. I thought they were just doing beach volleyball like against each other. I didn't think they were actually competing against other teams. So I think that's kind of cool. Good. Like, I'm honestly intrigued, like, because see, I never played volleyball, obviously. How much different? Like, do you guys know how much different beach volleyball is from actual volleyball? Or do you feel like it's kind of pretty much the same?
I mean, I don't know much about it honestly, but I feel like there's definitely some different like technicalities, just like with your footing, and
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously can't sprint across the court as fast as you would like with
Yeah,
sand
probably
and that
movement.
kind of things.
Movement are probably the
yeah.
biggest thing that'd be different than that. Honestly, I honestly like with how nice the weather is. I honestly probably want to go. I want to go watch one. It's been a while since I've done volleyball, and volleyball is always so much fun for me to watch. So honestly, I'd be super intrigued to go watch that. Husker fans, if you didn't know there's beach volleyball going on, there is beach volleyball going on, and we're a volleyball school, so go support them.
Should be fun.
But with that, that's about going to wrap up our show today. Both basketball teams won on the weekend. Softball, baseball, pretty solid weekends overall. And it was just a good weekend for Husker sports. If you guys got anything, any closing remarks before we head out of here?
I was just gonna add that the track also competed in the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah,
the
I missed
indoor
that.
championships.
How'd they do?
They did good. They were in Ohio, and the men's side got second. They got runner up, so I mean that's
I
always
missed that.
good. And women's got 8th place, and there's 4 titles total on the team. So yeah, track is rolling.
Yeah, Nebraska's got a pretty good track and field team as well, if I am not mistaken. So again,
Yeah.
it's not just these bigger sports. All these other sports having very successful seasons. Who does wrestling play next? Do you guys know?
I think it's the Big Ten championships next in College Park, Maryland.
Oh yeah,
but I think that's the 10th, I believe, of March. So
they got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, they got some time to rest, some time to regroup. Obviously, a team that thinks they can win the Big Ten and thinks they can even do more in the NCAA championships. So gives them a lot of time to just regroup and just focus into this big part of the season.
I mean, they think if they're gonna win Big Ten tournament, they're gonna have to get through Penn State.
Yeah,
because Penn State is so good. But with that, that's gonna do it for our show tonight. Thank you for listening to the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 11 to 12. Me and Joseph will be on. It's going to be a little bit slower of a day. Not much going on, so it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to talk about. We're going to have to figure it out, but, there's always stuff to talk about, Husker sports, and we love doing the show. So, once again, thank you for listening to the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We are out of here.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.